Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man. You all are doing well. I am. Once again, and I want to thank everybody who stopped by to see me. And I want to forms. Thank you very much. If I hit a button, I could have a crowd go, but I don't, so I'll just have to wing it. So anyway, folks, oh boy. Big indictments dropping on organized crime. Trump has thrown down the gauntlet right at the feet of the cartels and Latin America. Intimidate their leadership. And we're not going to put up with it anymore. Big things are coming, but we know that's what's going to happen. And now is the time and the hour. It's coming. So, anyway, what do? I play some videos while people settle in, get themselves a cold brouhaha, or a nice cup of coffee, or maybe a cup of tea, or a bourbon and Coke. But anyway, I play videos, don't I? That's what I'm going to do this time again, and then we'll be like butter. And do what? Get on a roll.
Something the Justice Department did yesterday, where Virginia cleaned up its voter rolls and got rid of thousands and thousands of bad votes, and the Justice Department sued them that they should be allowed to put those bad votes and illegal votes back in and let the people vote. So I haven't gotten over that. A lot of people have seen that. They can't even believe it.
Democrat open borders plan trench single-party rule explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world, enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states so far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape. Criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts, a tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots, no signature verification, and no proof of citizenship requirements, making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges, enshrining fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved. The best part? Your tax dollars are paying for it.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
The wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give President tremendous. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Some of Trump's close political allies of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thanks for joining me tonight. Every day's a busy day, don't you know? Big things happening. Bigger than the Super Bowl, wouldn't you say? Boy, is that going to cast a pall on that little affair, right? Never mind, what's his name? Dirty Bunny or whatever his face is. Hi, Sissy. How you doing? Nice to see you. Funny Bunny, what's his name? I forget. Sherry, nice to meet you. Well, see you. Melinda, Darla, Miss Menderson said, woohoo. Todd's here. Rain's here. Robin, Linda Marie. Let's see. Hello, everybody. Randy's here. Todd's here. Let's see. Saying hi to everybody. Everybody, okay. Let's see. Going down. Wayne's here. I know I got some thumbs up. While you're coming in, folks, remember to give a thumbs up. It helps the video get around like Rebecca's doing. Give me a thumbs up. I know Linda give me a thumb up, too. And so Sherry. Hi, baby nurse. Nice to see you. Yeah, just put in there. Rain just put in there. Hi, everybody. Araceli, nice to see you. Greg's here from Alberta, Canada. All right, Rebecca's here. Everyone in the chat. That's what you say, Rebecca. That's what you say. Gary, we were wondering about you. You had a typhoon hit up your way, didn't you? Tell us about the typhoon. Let's see. Marla, nice to see you. So, all right. Yeah, Trump sent 25 million up Alaska's way? Plus that highway I didn't get to talk about. The special connector highway. Almost 300 miles, isn't it? 275 miles. Going to be a big economic boom to Alaska. Or is it boon? B-O-O-N. But anyway, we've got booms coming, don't we? We've got booms coming. Especially in the areas of cartels. Now, isn't that a disgusting thing you see on? I had that in the studio. A couple of days ago, they've been handing them out, tape them. Near the heart of our seat of government. Jackie, nice to see you. David, nice to see you. Now is the time and the hour is what I said at the beginning of the broadcast. You're right. Now is the time. My old friend used to say, now is the time and the hour, Junior, the time and the hour. And when he wanted to get, but I tell you, I want to play this one. I've got a lot of clips from Trump I'm going to play. But I'm going to play this from Tulsi Gabbard, and I want you to listen to her. Because this is the cinder block of a red pill that's getting broken up into small pieces to make it easier to swallow. But listen to what she refers to the activities of this one woman in particular named El Diablo, the devil, what she was doing. And it's one of many. And it's grotesque.
The most insidious was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership like everyone around this table are working and eager to get after this because they believe in your leadership and the mission that you have presented to them. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll hand this off to Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller. The
saying right out front things that are probably still are unallowed, not allowed to talk about on this platform. One person, there's what are they doing? Be careful what you put in the chats. Alter your words, please. Is my transmission going okay? Folks, Miss Bender Sue said they're messing with me. Hi, David. It's been a while since you called. Did that video play? I think it's one of the most important snippets that you would hear. My mic is on, so you should be able to hear me. This early in the broadcast, I'm having troubles. Can I get a 5x5? I don't see any 5x5s on my screen. I am very upset. Oh, okay. It's coming through now. All right. But anyway, did the video play? Hi, Jackie. My transmission is intermittent. The mic keeps cutting off. Did Tulsi Gabbard's words come through? The most important discussions that are yet to be had with the general population as to the depths of depravity these people will go to. Selling newborns, harvesting, the other word is organs. So they caught Al Diablo, the devil, to the devil. And I tried to look up a news story on it, and all you get is Mexican restaurants and recipes for hot sauce. Not a word. Hi, Pappy. Not a word about it. But I'll tell you what I've always said, nobody cares unless it's their ox getting gored. I sit there and listen to Tulsi Gabbard, and I was shocked that she's putting it out there that plump and plain. But we have to remember, the only reason a lot of people we have to deal with in our society are the types that get upset over their Captain Crunch and EBT cards. They could care less about what she just discussed, what is happening on a large scale, been going on for decades, to humanity, to human beings. And so we're just going to have to keep carrying the torch. And it's going to be a total overhaul. A total overhaul of our monetary system, of our government. That's why I put this thumbnail up. Because the lefties are making fun of the White House renovation. And they put this meme up to incite people to be angry at Trump. But I think it's symbolic that they used money, and they also showed the White House, and they showed an excavator. That's right. That's right. We're going to tear it down, and we're going to build it back up. And so today, it gets announced that there's mass arrests concerning sports betting. And well, it may not be, but I think it is. I think it is a big deal. And what's his name? Steven, what's that sports guy's name? I didn't get to copy the video, but he put out a video that said, Trump is coming. I've been telling you all. And of course, he tempers it with, I think it's terrible, but he's coming. He's got bearing a grudge. And Kash Patel says it's one of the most ridiculous things he's heard in modern history. But Stephen, I think is what is his last name? Stephen A. Smith. Thank you, Todd. He's half right. He's half right. Trump is coming, but it ain't for the reasons you're saying to pacify your liberal audience. He's coming because the laws have been broken and people have got to go to jail. And this is just a small portion of it, a small portion of the criminality. Here's Kash Patel. What do you catch him intimate during this discussion, if somebody can read between the lines? And he speaks of hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And are people really thinking that there's no politicians involved? Are people really thinking that there's nobody in government in control and in judgeships and elected positions that don't know anything about it? Are people really that naive?
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. And we could not have done it without our interagency partners that are before us today. The NYPD, HSI, and teams of law enforcement officials from around the country made this day possible. It takes a team to bring this kind of justice, sweeping justice, into the halls of the United States courtrooms, where our brave United States Attorney has led this prosecution. To stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in La Cosa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms of not just money, but the scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people for money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where card games are being played. We are proud to stand here today with the men and women of the FBI and this legal team. And to the United States Attorney, I just want to thank you personally for taking the time to display the work that the media is about to hear about today in detail. As I said, it does take courageous prosecutors, but it takes a courageous United States Attorney to bring this case, because we are going to take heat for it. But we don't shy away in this administration. We don't say no. What we do is we bring the results across the finish line. We bring them to the public. We bring you accountability. And yes, they will have their day in court, and you will hear the evidence through the court system exclusively. We will not deny anyone of due process. And that's the brilliance of this system. That's the brilliance of this administration. Everyone will be held to account. So with that, I turn it over to United States Attorney Nocella. Thank you.
Everyone will be held to account. That's the brilliance of this administration. This is just the beginning. And yeah, Diddy's probably singing, as well as a lot of other people. And the choir is even going to get bigger. Bigger and bigger. An intricate web, don't forget. They'll have their own divisions that they focus on. Al Diablos in newborns, but they're all criminal entities, and they all cross paths at some time or another. So there's two booms that we would have considered big booms a year ago. If we just got one per day, we'd say, boom, that was a boom. Somebody selling newborns and trafficking in organs. And these are the people the Democrats are fighting to keep in the country, to keep the flow of people coming. Well, then what does Lee Zeldin come out with? That we've been talking about for years. What's he going to talk about? That everybody thought we were crazy about. Were they sprinkling dummy dust on people, dummy dust, to make them as irrational as they are right now? Or whatever they were doing with these chemtrails? Nobody's ever addressed it or taken it seriously. But while we heard boom one about the crimes against humanity, boom two, organized rigging of games on a mass scale in one area of the country. What about the West Coast? What about the Gulf of America states? Then we come to this, Lee Zeldin. Do you think he's just tossing us a bone, or is he really going to come up with some things that are going to outrage people?
Concerned Americans have urgent and important questions about geoengineering and contrails. The American public deserves and expects honesty and transparency from their government when seeking answers. But for years, people who asked questions in good faith were dismissed, even vilified by the media and their own government. That era is over. The Trump EPA is committed to total transparency. As a result, I tasked my team at EPA to compile a list of everything we know about contrails and geoengineering for the purpose of releasing it to you now publicly. In other words, I want you to know everything I know about these topics and without any exception. Instead of simply dismissing these questions and concerns as baseless conspiracies, we're meeting them head on. We did the legwork, looked at the science, consulted agency experts, and pulled in relevant outside information to put these online resources together. Everything we know about contrails to solar geoengineering will be in there. That means anyone who reads through this information will know as much about these topics as I do as EPA administrator. To anyone who's ever looked up to the streaks in the sky and asked, what the heck is going on? Or seen headlines about private actors and even governments looking to blot out the sun in the name of stopping global warming? We've endeavored to answer all of your questions at the links on your screen. In fact, EPA shares many of the same concerns when it comes to potential threats to human health and the environment, especially from enthusiasm for experiments that would pump pollutants into the high atmosphere has set off alarm bells here at the Trump EPA. Prior to now, EPA has never been this proactive to raise awareness about concerns with geoengineering and to stop this activity from being scaled up. This is what it looks like when government actually listens to the will of the people and doesn't try to squash it. You can always trust this administration and this EPA to take your concerns seriously, answer your questions honestly, and carry out the will of voters with integrity.
We're not going to have these programs scaled up. Well, we want to know what they are, and we want them stopped if there's geoengineering. What you see on the screen is probably paid for by somebody. The next thing that came out, I think this is the right clip. Let me see. Where Trump gives us a hint that he knows who's paying for this stuff, this tumult and unrest, and that we'll be surprised. Well, he tells the media we won't be surprised. Let me see if this is the right clip.
I think the Democrats have gone totally crazy, and you don't know what they're going to do because they don't care about the people. They don't. I really think they have no leadership. They have a lot of very low IQ people. They have no rudder. I don't think they know what they're doing right now. You know, they've never done this before. They always agreed to go and, called an extension. Let's do an extension and talk. Even today, look at what happened today. They don't want to pay the people that have worked and they wouldn't pay the people that have been working. They said, no, we don't want to pay them. This is all the Democrats. Now, all we need is 5 Democrats.
He's talking about it was put to a vote. Are they going to cut checks for the essential workers that they require to come to work, that have been coming to work as essential? Do you want to at least pay them? And they said no. So it's a test, and they failed it. But this isn't a clip about the who's paying for the riots, but it's still a good clip. because you talk about people that are put in that are ignorant drones and puppets in positions of power and will do what the puppet masters want.
I know a lot of Democrats that are saying they're more than 5, probably not that many more than 5, but they're more than 5. And all we need is like 5 Democrat votes so we open our country again. Sad, though, we have the greatest economy in our history. We have the highest stock market. All these things are rocking. We will have by the end of my first year more than $20 trillion of investment. The all-time record is $3 trillion. I think it's China. We're going to have $20 or $21 trillion. We've never had anything like it coming in because of tariffs. The money pouring into our country, the plants that are opening, AI, automobiles, everything. And the Democrats want to close our country. They're really, they say deranged. They suffer. I guess it's Trump derangement syndrome, which I think they get paid extra money if they handle it because of disease. But you know what? They really should approve an extension, get the country back to work, get the people paid. And, it's very simple. You just don't know what's going on. There's something wrong with them. It's sad.
Something wrong with them. Something wrong. Sissy, Illinois, I was going to bring that up last night. I had it in my studio and didn't get to it, where there was a problem popped up with the redistricting. And Trump was a little perturbed that there were roadblocks coming into the Illinois redistricting. Then I saw a story today, family in I think it was a helicopter accident. You really got to wonder what's going on. You can't help but wonder. Let me see if what this clip is. There were a lot of things going on with this sit down Trump had. Let me see what he's saying here.
Somebody came up with the word cartel. I won't tell you who that person was, but you got a lot of bad people in the cartels. And you could look at a country like Mexico, and I really respect a lot of the...
Now, this is where he's telling all the cartel members, all the governments and cartel members, that something's going to happen.
But they are in fear in their own country because those cartels are running those countries, okay? And that includes Colombia. Colombia is a drug den. It's a drug den, and it has been for a long time. You got a lousy leader over there right now, bad guy, a thug. But they make cocaine at levels that we're not going to put up with it much longer. I have great respect for the president, a woman that I think is a tremendous woman. She's a very brave woman. But Mexico is...
Yeah. We have to defend ourselves from that. That was the next boom. They're out of order, but you see which way it's going, because I was going to show this before I played that clip, that there was 2 American B-1B Lancer bombers conducted a patrol today in the Venezuelan airspace, air defense identification zone, and approaching to a distance of 80 kilometers from the coast, briefly turning off their transponders, which looked like a simulated strike. Right there. Right down from Caracas. Caracas. Ha. So, and then Trump is telling them that we're going to take action. We're going to take action. Let me see if this might be where he tells what's her face? She's fake news. Caitlin, we've got all this stuff going on. Tulsi Gabbard tells us of horrific, ghoulish crimes. And she brings up, what was that? Was that the guy that was in jail for Silk Road thing? Is that what they called it? And Trump pardoned him? I can't even remember his name. But all the people in crypto really wanted him to get out of jail and didn't feel he did anything wrong, and Trump pardoned him. So we've got all this stuff going on, military maneuvers around South America. Trump saying out loud, we're not going to put up with it. Was talking about actions on land that we would be notifying Congress. Everything that we've been talking about. She brings up the pardon for this crypto guy, and Trump tells her she's fake news. Let me see if this is the right clip or not.
The founder of Binance. Can you explain why you chose to pardon him, and did it have anything to do with his involvement in your own family's crypto business?
I believe we're talking about the same person, because I do pardon a lot of people. I don't know. He was recommended by a lot of people. A lot of people say that, are you talking about the crypto person? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 months in jail, and they say that he was not guilty of anything, that what he did, well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing. You're fake news. Somebody that, as I was told, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I've been told by a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And they said that what he did is not even a crime. It wasn't a crime, that he was persecuted by the Biden administration. And so I gave him a pardon at the request of a lot of very good people.
So they talk about off-topic stuff and tried to dig up old bones to pester Trump. And he calls her fake news, but he still answers the question. Okay, what's going on? I think you got Gary pegged wrong, Choosy. He's been a part of the channel for a long time. Always goes by Buy Me Coffee and supports the channel. I don't think he understands what you were talking about. Who's Carnation Revolution? I've never seen you here before, and I don't know what to make of people getting into name calling in the chats, especially with somebody who's been with the channel for a long time. I don't think he knows how to take the topics you're talking about. Okay, when we're talking about human trafficking, organ trafficking. And you get into raking leaves. So, Choosy's been here for a while, but you do talk about off-topic things, and it confuses people, and they don't know how to take you. So don't feel like you're being attacked. Gary paraphrases Bible verses that are not targeted at anybody. He's just bringing up points. He's not talking to any specific person. He's talking in general. Let's see, what's going on here? Yeah, you're talking about raking leaves, and that's fine, but don't make direct comments about other people in chats if you don't feel like you get along with them. Just talk about what you want to talk about, your comments on what we're talking about. Anyway, where was that? Somebody said something about Pritzker. Hi, Kim. Debbie, how you doing? Ann, nice to see you. Yeah. Nice to see you all. We all want to get along in the chats. Okay, we've been a group for a long time. A long time. Speaking of Pritzker, here's Brett Baer asking him about his crime rates, specifically murder. But anyway, so he tries to wiggle out of it. I don't know what to make of Brett Baer now.
Why does Chicago have the highest murder rate of all the big cities?
Well, we are not in the top 30 in terms of our murder rate. Indeed,
well,
our murder rate it has been cut in half over the last 4 years, and every year it's gone down by double digits. And if you look at all of the
17.47 per 100,000 population, Chicago is number one.
What I'm explaining to you
now,
is
you're
when
talking
you want
about
to
violent
fight crime. Look, you can pull statistics up.
No, these are murders.
I'm explaining to you that our murder rate has been cut in half, and very importantly, Brett, and you got to hear this. Very importantly, we've been doing the things that are necessary to bring crime down, right? We've invested in community violence interruption. We've invested in police. I've added more state police than any governor in quite a long time. It's very important that we do both of those things and more to invest in our communities so that we bring crime down. We're doing that. You know who's doing the opposite? Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's trying to do some judo and talk about Donald Trump. Yeah, what in the world is going on? Well, hi, Graybeard, how you doing? Yeah, hit the thumbs up. And Gary, Choosy, what are you talking? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Using that kind of language. Yeah, we don't need that. Don't need that kind of language. And, yeah, take a chill pill. You're going to have a heart attack. What are you getting wound up about? I'm saying behave in the chats and they'll get personal just back and forth. That's all I'm saying. We all get along here usually. Usually we all get along here. Where is my clip of Trump? Where he was talking about people involved in financing these daggone events, so-called protests. I got a funny thumbnail from JLR. Breaking news, breaking news. Look, what was that? JLR put this picture up. Massive ICE protests and arrests. And I watched some of it. But what was that movie? Planet 9 or Plan 9? Plan 9 from outer space. Do I got that right? Plan 9 from outer space. But anyway, that's what that guy reminds me of. Look, he's been pepper sprayed. But anyway, yeah, it was, I don't know, maybe 100 people at protests. It wasn't that big a deal. But I watch sometimes people make idiots of themselves. Let's see here. What's this clip here? This might be the one where, I don't know. They're all mixed up. There's so many different clips. Let's see what he talks about here.
And a friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you.
Oh, this is where a private person came in, and I'll let Trump tell it. He cut a big check. What'd he cut the check for?
He called us I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military, because I love the military and I love the country. And any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute for $130 million. He doesn't really want the recognition, if you want to know the truth, but he gave us a check for $130 million. And that's going to go to which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And that's going to go to the military, yeah.
$130 million. The guy that won 1,000 billionaires in America, which is not a lot. So, a lot of people automatically say, oh, it was Elon. It doesn't necessarily have to have been Elon. I'll have to go out and find that clip where he said, I heard him say it. I hope I got the clip. I hope I put it in my studio. I'm trying to think while I got all this stuff going on in the chats. I mean, how you doing? Angel, nice to see you. Oh my. Yeah, I mean, individual people can block each other, but when you use that, I don't allow that in my chats. It's breaking my chat rules. Using, calling foul names. So just settle down. It'll be all right. Hey, this ought to bring a smile to your face no matter what's going on. Whoa, not this story. This young lady right here. This young lady right here. Annunciation Catholic school shooting. Victim Sophia Fortes returns to school in a limousine. Remember her? She had a really bad head injury, and she survived. Now they say she's thriving. I got the video. It's a short clip. She gets out. She doesn't really care. She doesn't turn around and look at the limo like, isn't this cool? She heads straight to her friends who are there waiting for her with open arms. She was very lucky to survive that horrible incident.
Oh my God.
Group hug, and it looked like she was walking, doing well. She had control over her body. That's wonderful, great. I mean, she had a very bad head injury. And another thing, this month is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And their parents, who love them so much. You are amazing. May God bless you. Look at that little sweetheart there. She's next to President Trump. Talk about a memory that she'll remember all her life. And remember when that young man went to congressional hearings, 72 hours after birth, that a mother could choose to, how do you terminate a pregnancy 72 hours after birth? That's 3 flipping days. And they had Down syndrome as one of the reasons. They shouldn't have any reason. Life is precious in all stages and conditions. And the young man was in Congress saying, I want to live. I'm glad I was born. I have Down syndrome, but I have value as a human being. You all remember that? So I thought that would have been a turning point in this nation's consciousness, but it wasn't. But anyway, I think that's a cute picture. I think it's great. But then we get back to the dark side. The dark side of the moon. Yeah, I timed out Yeah. We're what's going on here? But anyway, here's the dark side. California DUI crash. 3 people lost their lives. Driver was an illegal immigrant caught and released in 2022. Jash and Preet Singh. Again, I don't think that's Irish. 21. 3 people lost their lives because of him in an 8-vehicle pileup on California's I-10 after allegedly driving a semi-truck under the influence of drugs. You think he was here legally or came in under the auto pen regime? There he is sitting there. Oh, what happened, man? I don't think you could say that. He's a no speaky for sure. But anyway, I got the video of the wreck. And if you watch it, you see apparently there's a truck on the side of the road getting road service, like jump started and the hood up. Can you imagine that on the side of a freeway getting jump started? And I'm afraid that's at least one of the people that lost their lives. But anyway, here's the accident.
Exclusive dash cam video, which is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. It shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of 4 semis were involved and also 4 passenger vehicles. One of them exploding, and of drivers were trapped in the gridlock just as the evening commute was getting underway.
Yeah, it's unreal. I agree. Yeah, licenses. Trump put out. Is everything settled down, I hope? Well, anyway. What did Rodney King say? Can't we all just get along? This is key. This is one of the 3 things that we must have. From you and then NEWB0RNS, is that how you say it? Where they told me this was last. Ever bring in mail-in voting? Well, now I can. Enforcement officer of the land says it's a problem and it needs to stop. So anyway, I'll go ahead and play it. Trump posted this himself.
You pushed out on social media about doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you explain on that? How?
Well, I will. That's a very off-topic, just really quickly. Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, but most people
Many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it, because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad, I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in, they even ask me, they asked me for my license plate, for identify. I said, I don't know if I have it. He said, sir, you have to have it. I was very impressed, actually. But it's very hard to cheat with mail-in voting. As you know what happens in California, it's so corrupt, where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them. Now, we got to stop mail-in voting, and the Republicans have to lead the charge. The Democrats want it because they have horrible policy. If you have mail-in voting, you're not going to have many Democrats get elected. That's bigger than anything having to do with redistricting, believe me. And the Republicans have to get smart. We're not going to have a country. I said for a long time at rallies, you need borders and you need free and fair elections. Those two things, otherwise you don't have. We have strong borders now. In 90 days, Mr. President, we didn't have 1, 0, 0, and 3 months. Not. And I find that hard to believe, but it's run by a little bit of a liberal group that put out the numbers, so I guess it's, but 0, 0, and 0. You go back a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 millions of people poured into our country. It was terrible. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so he said that he said only 2 things, but he said 3 in the past. He said secure borders, vote fair elections, okay, no mail-in voting, and a free and fair press, not fake news. That's the 3 things we got to get. You know, you guys are our witness. How many of you remember me? Because I'm talking about this arrest thing now with this sports betting. How many of you remember me saying, I think it was about 4 episodes ago, I was talking about corruption, and it was like octopus. The cartels and big money, organized crime was like an octopus. Remember me saying I knew a guy who had Cal Ripken on his books. I just said that earlier in the week. Remember, folks? And I said he talked about long green. I got the long green. And I knew him back in the 1990s. I did some business deals with him. He was a tough, smart man. But he was born right around 1910 or so. And back in the 20s and 30s, that's the way they show. He'd stick his arm out with his palm up, his right arm out with his palm up, and he'd take his left hand and run it from his fingertips to his shoulder and say, I got the long green. And that was to mean he could lay hundreds all the way up his arm. That was back a thing they used to say back in the 30s. How many of y'all remember me saying that? And I said he had Cal Ripken on his books. Ain't that funny? And then, boom, here comes this big sports betting. Why do you think he had Cal Ripken on his books? I never asked questions. I didn't get involved in anything sideways. Because they do a mix of things. They do a mix of things. I wanted to point out something about Pritzker. But I didn't, I forgot. Because of all the action going on. I do wish there would be conflict, in the chats. But I want to point out something about, I was going to sing a song while Pritzker was, where did he go? Here he is. Let me put him on the screen. Okay, here he is. With Pritzker, I was going to stop the video before he blamed Donald Trump for everything, and I was going to say, do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? What do you notice about Pritzker? Hi, Roland. How you doing? Miss Mindersue remembers me talking about him. And I had a friend who bought a bunch of lumber companies, owned a couple of banks, but earlier in his career, he got in some money trouble. Aha, Miss Mindersue saw it. Rain saw it. Purple tie. I was showing that the other day, too. Purple outfits and purple ties everywhere. Purple color revolution. Communist color revolution. Ha ha, Graybeard said Ozempic. But anyway, my friend said, hey, you know where I can get some private financing for something? I need a friend with the long green. And I told him, you can work with him if you want to, but if you're behind and trying to talk to him on the phone and that phone goes dead all of a sudden, that's not going to be very good. In other words, you didn't want to, find money somewhere else. I wouldn't have took money off of them. When that phone goes dead, something bad's going to happen. Look red on your phone. Angel. Justin, how you doing? Oh, Pritzker's with the Getty family? Here's Josh Hawley, when they're talking about the White House. Trying to, look at this little reporter here. I wonder who he's with. All the things we're talking about, all the changes that are coming, the government's closed. We got people working without paychecks. We got all the... They start talking about the White House's...
What about just uprooting the, this is an iconic building?
Mono, I will just say this. I made this point yesterday, that I hear all of a sudden from my liberal friends that they're very concerned about our history. Really, these are the same people who tore down every statue they could get their hands on in the last 4 years. Christopher Columbus, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt. They didn't have any concern for history then. Now all of a sudden, like, oh, the facade of the East Wing is iconic. Oh, give me a break. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, what does that little guy know? That reporter, what does he know about the White House being iconic? Totally gutted what Trump did. His legacy, that dopey basketball court, and that East Wing was where Obama was having his parties. Am I right? Am I right about Obama having parties in the East Wing at 2 o'clock in the morning, ordering hot dogs and pizzas for $69,000 out of the blue? Yeah, like I said, If they sprinkled holy water on that site, it would probably steam like the geysers in Yosemite National Park. Let's see what's going on. Where did he go? Wait a minute. What's going on? Oh, Gary. Yeah, Gary, come back, Sissy said. Yeah. Well, it's best when somebody's giving a hard time to just lay low. He'll pop back in. He'll pop back in. Now, this is the kind of language they're using because they're getting frantic. And she talks about going for across the neck, using language like that. And they want to wipe out all Republicans in certain states. Listen to the vitriol in this language.
Work. I'm from the hood, okay? So when a bully comes, like, if there are no rules, you literally have to figure it out. So Donald Trump has changed things, and people trying to do what's always been done is not going to work. And I think that's why Democrats are losing black people. That's why they're losing poor people, because poor people, all they want is for us to fight. So if you hit me in my face, I'm not going to punch you back in your face. I'm going to go across your neck, because we can go back and forth fighting in each other's faces. You got to hit hard enough where they won't come back. And so, yeah, for the same way I went to New York and spoke with Governor Kathy Hochul and said, if they're going to try to wipe us out in Texas, we need to wipe out every Republican in New York, in California, in Illinois. So no one can make me feel bad about fighting for the people that I represent, because the people that I represent need someone who's willing to go in the ring and fight for them, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
So, Representative, in that context, the reality of the world is we are living in a moment where, yes, there's this shutdown going down, and Democrats on Capitol Hill are standing up for that and the way they think is working. But we hear
the way they think it's working. Shut down the government, that's working, you say? Desperate, angry people. She probably wouldn't even have her House seat if it wasn't for the body count of illegal aliens in Texas. She probably wouldn't be anywhere near that seat she's got. And Pelosi jumps on the bandwagon along with judges, governors, mayors, who are threatening federal officers, ICE agents, and other federal officers. Pelosi said police may arrest federal agents who violate California law. The San Francisco district attorney said in an interview that she came up with a strategy after seeing federal agents repeatedly roughing up people in Los Angeles and Chicago. Well, good luck with that, because you're the one to be going to the pen. I saw this video. Right? I mean, what would you think? Here we go, right? Well, let's play it.
They're saying they're protesting kings, but they're the ones trying to overturn the will of the voters. Think about that. It kept happening over and over. Security guard of our building, one neighbor walking a dog. And I was just like, why would people want to go to that? The protesters call Trump authoritarian, but he's the one implementing the policies he was elected on. That's not tyranny. That's representative government. I get that you might not like what his agenda is, but it is literally what he ran on. And he won the popular vote. I think to try and remove that leader, that's the anti-democrat.
And I just support the...
Just goes to show you can't judge a book by its...
Support the president. I'm not saying I'm anti-protest ever, but it was very group thinky. I didn't like the energy out there. So many people kept asking me, hey, did you go to the rally earlier? No. I realized that here in New York City, my opinion is unpopular. It was the cool thing to do here in my neighborhood, Chelsea. Power. When in reality, they're trying to undo a democratic process they just don't like the outcome of. Even if he's not for every policy that I would be for domestically, he's for sure every policy that I'm for foreign policy-wise. And I just feel that he's making the world safer with what he's doing in the Middle East. And domestically, I don't support mobs of left-wing people trying to say that Western life is bad. I think our way of life is good. It's always shocking to me that I really align now with the conservative viewpoint, but it's like, I do. The transition is complete. So when people ask me, why didn't you go? I just skip the debate, because how do you explain that demanding the removal of an elected leader isn't the defense of democracy? It's the opposite. I don't want to get into it with them. I just kept it to myself.
Yeah, I was surprised. You know, he's probably a small percentage of people who choose that look or whatever. But hey, you know, you do you, buddy. But he's thinking properly, and I would rather on that I've been seeing on the left. Most certainly would. Kind of like that Saudi Arabian guy saying I would have a Jewish person at my house overnight as a guest before I would have a Palestinian. I mean, that's kind of a weird comparison, but you could see how when some people go too far, that two formally opposing groups can agree those people have gone too far. And that's exactly what he's saying, and I agree with him. Here you go. Inject yourself with an experimental drug or lose your job. Protect your political adversaries. Vote for an installed presidential candidate. No kings. They're clowns. They're out of their minds. There you are, folks. It's a screenshot for you to put on your Meta page. He's definitely in the minority of the blue hairs, that's for sure. Yeah, aerosols. Let's see what's going on. What's going on in the chats? Oh. Yeah, he's okay with blue hair, Miss Spendersuit. He's you know, I mean, remember I was talking about Liberace. We all accepted Liberace. We all accepted a lot of people who were. Let's see. I don't know. Where in the world? I'm trying. Do y'all see the chats moving? Because I'm moving around looking, see what's going on. Hang 'em. Guess who? I don't know. Who are you? Hi, Yvonne. How you doing? Nice to see you. So anyway, there was the don't judge a book by its cover lesson of the day. Oh, this is the reporting on the guy getting arrested. Here's Pam Bondi. This might be where Trump says you might be surprised. I'm not sure if this is a clip or not. Let me see. Who you might be surprised who's financing this stuff.
Re-election in 2020. You made this exact promise to show no mercy on the cartels and employ every military asset necessary to combat them. In that same video, you also said that you plan to expose all the bribes and corruptions with politicians and the cartels.
We're doing that.
Has your
we're
task
trying to
force
do
been
that.
looking into that in American politicians?
Yeah, they had this weekend, which was embarrassing to them, and the crowds were much more. The crowds were not big. Those crowds were not big at all. But when you look at signs, and they're all made beautifully, the yellow signs, I saw the yellows, the blues, but they're all made professionally in a printing shop, looks like on Madison Avenue someplace. Some guy is paying for all that stuff. And we don't mind protest. Protest is a good thing. I protest. I'm always protesting, right? But when you see some of these people are going crazy. They're going crazy because they're getting paid. Because there's no reason for them to be going crazy. But you watch some of them, and they're professional agitators, and we are finding out who's paying them. Yeah, we have a lot of information about who they are. You're going to...
Uh-huh. We have a lot of information. And you're going to be very surprised. Well, we're not going to be surprised. Somebody put this up. I've never seen this drawing before. Have you all seen this drawing? I just not from the drawing. Some Natalie Wynn said, in my opinion, the next president has an obligation to destroy this. And same meme said, I'll put this in terms you understand. The East Wing may have been designed as offices, but deep down it identifies as a ballroom. So President Trump is giving it a little structure-affirming care, aligning its exterior with its inner sense of self. Let's all support the East Wing on its important, transformative journey of self-discovery. Is it going to be that huge? I don't think that's an accurate drawing. But this Natalie Wynn person thinks it needs to be torn down. What's this? Oh, this might be the Fox News talking about the bust with La Cosa Nostra and all these sports people.
Attorney General Letitia James announcing a new portal where residents can send photos and video operations. James says the portal is...
No, this is Letitia James. Let me start that over again. Like I was saying, all the things that are being disclosed. And is Letitia James, now she's in New York. Is she going to announce, oh yeah, we're catching mafia people too. Yeah, we're catching people who are selling newborns too. We're cracking down on organ trafficking. No, here's what she comes up with.
Attorney General Letitia James announcing a new portal where residents can send photos and videos of ICE operations. James says the portal is meant to review and investigate legal violations by agents, and her statement referenced Tuesday's immigration raid in Chinatown in New York City. Meantime, House Democrats say they will launch their own similar ICE tracker. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi criticizing that effort, citing a sharp increase in violence against law enforcement. Coming up later,
labeled the Democrat Party a terrorist organization. Did you? He said $21 trillion is what they were looking at for tariffs. And I said by the time it all shook out, we would be looking at 30 trillion. I said that about 3 months ago. You all remember that? For a year, on average, I was thinking around 30 trillion. Trump said today 21 trillion is what they're looking at right now, and they're just taking off. Because I said the goal was going to be to restore this country to what it was before the 16th Amendment and get rid of government dominance over your individual life, where you have to report to some bureaucrat every 90 days what you're doing with your life and get their what? Approval? No. You'll never get that, but they sure will get your money. And look how good they spend it. Look at what we've been finding out. Well, Trump is bringing government spending down. Look at the difference. Biden, especially Q3. Trump is just starting, and he's chopped so much spending out of the picture. Trump posted this without a comment. Record deportations under Trump administration. 515,000 illegal migrants deported. 1.6 million self-deported. 485 illegal migrants arrested. So that would be, what's the total there? That would be over 2.5 million. That's right, Todd, like during Taft. Well, McKinley is who Trump refers to. They tried to erase McKinley from the history books by renaming Mount McKinley. Well, I might have played this clip. Wait a minute. Let me see. Oh, I think the Democrats are going crazy. Yeah, I played that clip. Babylon Bee put up, Trump makes 73rd visit, 73rd trip to Home Depot since start of White House renovation. And they put up another one. Congress reassures the nation. The government shutdown will not affect paychecks for Congress. Boy, they look horrible. But I don't know. Do you think the plan is to keep it closed until December 1st when they can really start cutting back on government programs and government largesse? I forgot what even... let's see what... let's see. I'm trying to remember what this clip was about. Let me see what Carolyn says.
Throughout this shutdown, Democrats have said this quiet part out loud. Senator Chuck Schumer, the leader of the caucus that is refusing to open the government, said, quote, "Every day gets better as the shutdown continues." Ask the air traffic controllers if every day is getting better, Senator Schumer, and they will tell you absolutely not. House Democrats, we take that responsibility seriously, but this is one of the few leverage points that we have. Here is a House Democrat who is admitting that they are using Americans who are suffering as political leverage. And Senator Bernie Sanders said, if you reopen the government, we lose our leverage. This is pure partisan games. A senior Democrat aide said the party will not end the shutdown, quote, short of planes falling out of the sky. That is truly a disturbing statement. The Democrats clearly don't care about this suffering. They care about playing political games against President Trump, and this dangerous charade needs to end. The president, in Republicans' position, has been clear and unchanged. Pass a clean, nonpartisan funding bill to reopen the government. And then we can talk about all of the partisan issues that the Democrats wish to. If you're watching at home, we urge you to call your Democrat senators and tell them to put our country over their party and reopen the government today.
Yeah, it's right. It's real simple. You vote to either keep the government closed or vote to open it. You know, all the double talk in between doesn't count. And they're coming right out and saying, oh, it helps us. Here's another meme for your Facebook. No, it doesn't affect my baby. Alcohol and Tylenol. 18 years later. Yeah, that'd be a good one to put up there. Let's see. Another one for your meta. When the government can't protect the vote and refuses to protect the border, it's time for a new government. Like revolution. But they provide us for how to revolt lawfully at the ballot box. But we got to get it to be fair and honest elections, no more. No. Here's what Citizen Free Press. Remember that, what's her name? She busted a coffee pot over her husband's head, supposedly, and gave that horrible interview and got lost. I didn't get the video, but just a blast from the past. Nonchalant Democrat Congresswoman Katie Porter on the murder of 22-year-old Laken Riley by an illegal immigrant in Georgia. The important thing to focus on is any one instance shouldn't shape our overall immigration policy. So she's done. All anybody's got to do is play that, plus her other things where she's showing her rear end. Trump put this out about Pritzker. 14 people were shot over the weekend in Chicago. 4 dead. What does failed Governor Pritzker and the equally pathetic mayor say now? Bring in the federal government and bring them in now. Let's see. We got Diamond and Silk. This is where I mentioned earlier about that Illinois situation. There's some kind of something going on stalling the redistricting, and Trump is getting hot under the collar about it. Not overly hot, but want answers. So there's something going on there, and then you find out a prominent GOP politician family members die in a tragic helicopter crash. I mentioned that earlier in the program. The name is Darren Bailey. Revealed on Wednesday, his son, daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren have died in a tragic helicopter crash. You know, these people are savage, and they're terrified. Like Trump said, they're scared for their lives. Oh, this is about the video I played at the beginning of the broadcast about Tulsi Gabbard. Clandestine said, Mother of God. D&I Gabbard outlines an insidious baby trafficking operation being carried out by the cartels, where they would lure pregnant women, perform illegal C-sections, and sell the newborn babies. This is what the Dems were allowing with their open borders. He didn't mention trafficking in organs. And remember what we've discussed in the past about Penn State University and those professors getting locked up. I don't know what the status is on that. But they had so-called fetuses in their possession they were conducting experiments on that were well past the point of gestation. Over 9 months old, 10, 11 months old, and more, I'm sure. Ghouls. We're talking about ghouls. And it's being put out to the public, little by little. Aren't doctors and scientists, they're ghouls. I don't know what the story is on this. Have you all heard anything about this? Democrat candidate who has been missing for months will still appear on the ballot. A Long Island lawmaker running for a county legislature seat will remain on the ballot in November despite the fact he has been missing since April, a Nassau judge ruled. Petros Kromidas, young, not 29-year-old. I don't know. I never heard that, but sounds kind of Eastern European, maybe like, was he, I don't know, in the Ukrainian situation, maybe you just don't come up missing for months. But anyway, exclusive. Trump's Department of Homeland Security issues nearly $10 billion in fines to illegals so they self-deport. DHS is using several tools to pressure illegal aliens to self-deport from the United States, including via their pocketbooks. And that's only going to go up. Here in part of the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. Here's the polls. Lieutenant Governor, AG. Spanberger is only up by 1 over Winsome Sears. 1 point. Lieutenant Governor is tied. Hashmi Reed, Attorney General, where that character said all those horrible things. He's down by 7 points. So that's going to be something to watch. Virginia. But like I said, you're worse off by getting a rhino. Might as well have a Democrat. Wouldn't be as bad as a rhino. So I don't know. Let's see if Winsome lives up to her earlier promise when she became Attorney General or Lieutenant Governor. I'm sorry. Uh-oh. Babylon B. Trump just commandeered an excavator and he's heading to the Capitol. Let's see. He worked at McDonald's. He worked on a trash truck. And now he's running an excavator. Let's see here. Here's Mr. T again. The federal government was preparing to surge in San Francisco, California on Saturday, but friends of mine who live in the area called last night and asked me not to go forward with the surge, in that the mayor, Danielle Lurie, was making substantial progress. I spoke to Mayor Lurie last night, and she asked very nicely he asked very nicely that I give him a chance to see if he can turn it around. I told him I think he's making a mistake because we can do it much faster and remove the criminals that the law does not permit him to remove. Was he talking about sanctuary laws? I told him it's an easier process if we do it faster, stronger, and safer. But let's see how you do. The people of San Francisco have come together on fighting crime, especially since we began to take charge of that very nasty subject. Great people like Jensen Huang, Mark Benioff, and others have called, saying that the future of San Francisco is great. They want to give it a shot. Therefore, we will not surge San Francisco on Saturday. Stay tuned. Okay. We'll see how they do. Just remember Karen Bass saying she was really going to get moving on people rebuilding their homes in the Pacific Palisades. That didn't turn out so good. Finally, some good news. Maniac charged in stabbing death of Irina Zarutska now faces the ultimate penalty. DEATH. Federal death penalty. Prosecutors say Brown was captured on surveillance video stabbing Irina Zarutska during an unprovoked attack. So, let's see how that pans out. When's that going to be? 2-year trial and 40 years waiting for appeals? We need quick trials. Backtracks. Fires trade Secretary Bessent. China has dismissed its outspoken trade negotiator, Li Chenggang. Is that how you say that? Chenggang, as the country's lead representative to the World Trade Organization. You know, I hate to say this, but getting fired from a high-level position in a communist government doesn't end up very healthy, I'll put it that way. Although I don't know what he said to Secretary Bessent, but Trump probably put the Ajax to him. What's going on with it? China and Chinese state-owned oil companies have suspended purchases of Russian oil due to new U.S. sanctions, Reuters reports. They wrote similar information about India as well. India and China, but isn't that something? You have this firing of a top-level diplomat and China boycotting Russian oil. Something must have happened. Because they're all worried about saving face and all that kind of garbage. Well, don't look like it is. That's what they're worried about now. Let's see this. The USA is our adversary, and their talkative peacemaker has now taken up the path of war against Russia. Deputy Chairman of the Russian Security Council, Medvedev. Okay. Maduro stated that Venezuela has deployed at least 5,000 Russian Igla-S surface-to-air missiles to counter the USA, reports Bild. Well, wait a minute. Treasury sanctions major Russian oil companies. This is from the U.S. Department of the Treasury. Calls on Moscow to immediately agree to a ceasefire. Trump is putting the pressure on both Russia. He didn't try to do it nicely. He did try to do it nicely. Trump printed the whole letter from the U.S. Treasury on his Truth page. Treasury sanctions major Russian companies, oil companies, calls Moscow to immediately agree to a ceasefire and At the same time, you get China following India's lead, backing out. I was talking about how Trump was going to keep Russia on a short leash using oil, that he could break their economy if he wanted to. Yeah, head of the U.S. Treasury bested upcoming sanctions against Russia will be among the toughest. U.S. Treasury Secretary. There's one of these, there's an announcement that Trump and Xi Jinping are going to meet. Let me see if it's this one. Yeah, there we go. It's at the bottom. The meeting between Trump and Xi Jinping will take place on October 30th in South Korea, the White House announced. That's right around the corner. So China is playing ball. They're firing people that are rough to get along with and boycotting Russian oil. Putin on reports about long-range weapons strikes deep inside Russia. This is an attempt at escalation, in which case the response will be very serious and stunning. Well, Trump came out and called anybody claiming that we had anything to do with these long-range missiles that they're using now is fake news and not telling the truth. We don't have anything to do with those missiles. But somebody does, somebody that would rather see World War III than peace. Here it is. The Wall Street Journal story on the USA's approval of Ukraine being allowed to use long-range missiles deep into Russia is fake news. The USA has nothing to do with those missiles, wherever they may come from, or what Ukraine does with them. Who's behind it? Probably the same people financing the protests. Oh, yeah, here we go. I was going to read this one before I played that video of Trump talking about getting rid of mail-in voting. Because he posted this prior to putting that video up. Ask former President Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him? Whether or not he really believes that in 2020 Joe Biden got 15 million more votes than he did in 2012. 65.9 versus 81 million. Additionally, ask him why it is that Joe Biden beat Obama in every single swing state with the black vote in 2020, even though black voters hate him, but in no other state. The 2020 election was an illegal scam / hoax that the people of our great country will never forget. Those are things I could not say on this platform, namely you and then Tizzle. By the way, if you're watching on Rumble, give me a thumbs up and hit the follow button. I appreciate that. And thank you to my new subscribers. We're into the third week of October. And if anybody wants to help out or support the channel on Buy Me a Coffee, I have a link in the description that you can, on Rumble, it'll take you right to it. But on YouTube, I think you got to copy the link and then go there. But anybody who wants to help the channel with Buy Me a Coffee, I would greatly appreciate it. And last week, Mike and Bev went twice. Along with Miss Menderson and Wayne. I do appreciate your help. We're in the third week now. You know, I had this here about Senator Kennedy that Donald Trump posted it, saying this will be the longest government shutdown ever. Kennedy torches Dems for blackmailing America. I think it's extortion myself. Here he is. Let's see if he says one of them great sayings he says. They make as much sense as windshield wipers on a donkey's butt. Or who knows what he's going to say.
Just on the shutdown, do you think that Trump should get directly involved here, get the leaders in the room, try to figure out a way out of this?
Ultimately, before we can reach an agreement, the president will have to be involved. But I don't know what the president would have to trade today. I don't know what we have to trade today. Well, we want you to automatically renew, apparently forever, the subsidies to the Affordable Care Act. But even if we renew the subsidies, it's not going to fix the problems in the Affordable Care Act. Any increases that people see in November are a result of the fact that the Affordable Care Act, it just hasn't worked. When it was passed, we were told that it would make health insurance affordable. It obviously hasn't. It would make it more accessible. It hasn't. You have to go on an exchange that's created by the government. You can't just go into the private market. And it's been very expensive. And to me, the whole thing's broken. And I would like to see the Congress, the Senate sit down and say, subsidies or no subsidies, what can we do, since this is costing people so much money, to try to fix it? You're not going to do that over a weekend. You're not going to do that over a week. It's going to take a while. And that's why if my Democratic friends stick to their guns and say, we're not going to open up government until you tell us your plan, and we want to make sure it works for fixing the health care delivery system, they're going to be waiting. We're going to be shut down a long time. Right now, I think this will be the longest shutdown in the history of ever. And I don't say that happily. I don't say that proudly. I'm just saying that realistically.
It goes past Thanksgiving?
I do. I just don't see what's going to get us out of it. Because what my Democratic colleagues are asking for, you know this, it's just not realistic. It's just not realistic. If they were asking for something that was reasonable, I would say it was something we could negotiate. But to insist that we just renew all of that we repeal all the health care provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill, that we put up $500 million, $500 million for public broadcasting, that's unreasonable. They know we're not going to do that.
Okay. Appreciate the time.
All right, man.
See ya.
Well, do you think it's going to go to December 1st? That's what I heard is the magic date where they're going to be risking a lot of their pet programs. You know, I wanted to play this too. Hi, Mac. Nice to meet you. Girl assigned to do presentation on inspiring person. She chose Charlie Kirk. It's a wonder her teacher didn't attempt to throw her out. I'm going to play her little presentation because she worked hard on it. And I think it's darling. Just darling. And it gives us hope for our young people. And I hope you enjoy her presentation. And I hope she got good. Thank you all for spending your precious time with me. And I should be going live again Sunday. And I hope you all choose to join me then. Give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, how about subscribe and help the channel get around a little bit more? So anyway, enjoy this nice presentation. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
A legend that bravely shared his beliefs, faith, and love for Jesus.
Tap on the tap up by your clouds. Higher. Go on the other side.
Who is Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk is a political conservative who had debates with fellow voters and people from colleges on their campuses. He is a Republican Christian man. He had a wife, Erica Kirk, and 2 young kids. On Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, but he is not at the feet of Jesus. Rest in peace, Charlie. What are some difficulties Charlie faced? As Charlie mobilized young conservatives on college campuses, he faced numerous personal threats in recent years. Last October, police in Tempe, Arizona, arrested a man who made online threats towards Charlie. On Thursday, September 11th, after Charlie's tragic assassination, Turning Point USA, a company Charlie co-founded, posted on X that Kirk had received thousands of threats through his lifetime, but he always prioritized reaching as many young Americans as possible over his own personal safety. How did Charlie overcome threats, persevere, and continue to be determined? Charlie received many of the threats towards him and his family. He overcame it by trusting in God to keep him safe. He knew he would get threats, but he couldn't do anything about it. It was a part of the job. Charlie knew God was with him and that he would protect him. He overcame adversity, persevered, and was determined to change and help people. And this is a quote by him. It says, "Good men must die, but death cannot kill their